Okay, so I hope I'm audible to you. And okay, so this is the seventh week of this course, and I'm one of the TA for this course, Kamna Mishra from School of Mathematical and Statistical Sciences, IIT Mandi. And the course is instructed by Professor Salab, who is from Department of Mathematics and Statistics, IIT Kanpur. Okay, so these are some useful links, and today we will basically be covering these topics. So, firstly, like in the last class, we have seen a little bit of sequences. So, we have seen what are the ways from which we can write the sequences. So, if I'll just go there and here, so we have seen there is one way like I can write from 2, and then there is other way. In this, it will just take the integer values. So if I have written 2 to 4, it will just take one gap on its own, because I have not given that you need to take this much of gap. The next, if I will say that you need to take this much of gap, then it will take like this, and it will be 2, 2.5, etc. The next is that rather than giving from or to, I can just give from, and I can give length. So from this, it will take this much of a step, and then after taking this much of a step, it will stop the sequence. And similarly for 2 also. So these are some things we have seen. We have also seen if we have y as negative value, then it will move in a backward direction rather than the forward one. Okay. Uh, Today we will see the increment decrement, which I have told you, uh, just in the vector form. Then we will see index vector, how we can define the index vector. We will see order later. We will see that this till now we have just seen the sequences of numbers. It is integer or float values, but we have not seen how we have actually not seen that how we can find the system time, system date, which basically we can find by this command. After that, we will see how we can make a sequence of time or date. Next, we will see how we can generate the sequence of basically dates, time, and it can be monthly, weekly, bi weekly, yearly. There are different ways. Next, we will see generating the sequence of alphabets. So, alphabets is just the letters. So that will be pretty simple and a small topic. After that, we will go through this repeat command, and we will see that how the times and each are different for repeat command. Okay, and then we will see at the end sorting. So, sorting, I hope you all know that we either sort all the numbers in ascending format or descending way, and then we will see the order and the mode, and at the end we will see the list, because till now we have worked mostly with the vectors. So, in data vector, we include only one type of this. In matrix also we include only like let's say we are including the integer, or in data vector if we are including just the characters, or let's say in matrix there is a matter of dimension, like you have to put the data for 3 by 2, 2 by 3, or some kind of matrix. It is not like that you have given the 7 entries, that you have 2 by 3 and then plus 1. There is nothing like that. But in list, kind of, there are no restriction. You can have different type of like in each element. In one element you can have data vector, in other element you can have some alphabets or some strings, some character values, or some matrix, or some data frame, does not matter. It can kind of contain everything. You can let's say you have a box and you can put everything in there. It is something like that. Okay, and after that we will see some examples, or maybe in between. Okay, so sequence increment decrement. So without using sequence seq, which we have seen, just a sequence if we want. So let's say if I just want the sequence from 1 to, let's say, 100, or let's say just 20. Okay, so if I will just write 1 and then semicolon 20, then it will give me the whole vector kind of thing. I do not need to write c 1 2 3 etc etc. So this is just, I can write this. If I will write 20 to 1, then it will give me the same sequence just in opposite direction, right? So this can be done. Now, what if I will write, like, let's say the opposite one? So, in the negative, we all know that if there is there's a real line, so we have 0, 1, let's say 20. So here it will be minus 1, here it will be minus 20, right? Now, uh, the sequence should be like minus 20. uh, okay, 2 minus 1. If I will write like this, then also it will give me a sequence. If I will write minus 1 to minus 20, then also it will give me a sequence. Uh, but this one is in forward and this one is in backward direction. So more or less, whatever numbers you are giving, it there is nothing like first needs to be larger and second needs to be smaller. So there is nothing like that. All you need to do is that give two numbers, and then it will give according to that. So this one is regarding the integer values. So what will happen if I will give some uh, vector values? So let's say if I'm giving 7.89 and to 13, then what it will do is that it will take up to 12.89, and then 13.89 will not contain in this one. So that is why it has just stopped. If I will write let's say 13.9, then it will give 13.89 also, because it is smaller than 13.9. So that is also one thing you can do. But if I will do the opposite, 7.89, okay, then you can see that here, because it is started from 7.89 and it is 13.9, so it will give uh, the sequence based on the first float values, okay, and make a gap of integer 1. So it is 7.89, 8.89 up to 13.89. But when I'm writing 13.9 to 7.89, it is not going to 7.89. It is starting from 13.9 and taking one step. So you can see that these two are completely different. Like if you see this, these two, you can see, okay, if I will just write this one in opposite direction, I will get the other sequence. But here, if you will write 13.89 up to 7.89 up in backward direction, then you will not get this sequence, because here it is starting from this point. So you need to remember that we need to remember the starting point here. Okay, there is nothing like the large number and a small number from or to like we have in the sequence. There is first, and let's say there is the start and then there is the end. So it will take a gap of integer 1 up to end. Okay. Okay. Is there any confusion till now? Okay. No, fine. Good. Okay, so this one was more or less just regarding the values. Now, if we move to the sequence, so what will happen if I will just add sequence in above? Okay, if I will just write sequence 20, then it will give me a sequence which will have, because in 20, when I have given 20, so what it will understand? Okay, here you can see there is from, to, by, length, along with. Okay, now if there is nothing given, okay, I have just written sequence 20, so it can assume any of it on its own. Okay, but in the sequence 20, if it will take like 20 as from, then it doesn't know how, where to go. If it will take 2 as 20, then also it doesn't know from where to start. So it will just take length as 20, and it will just give 1 2 up to 20. Okay, now in all the above one, what will happen if I will just add the sequence? Okay. Okay, so what I will do is that uh, I will just write sequence, and I will take these values. Okay, now you can see the difference. So sequence 1 to 20 and sequence 20 to 1 both are same. Okay, the both are same, it is taking both values as same. Now what will happen if I will uh, take sequence of this? Okay, and this sequence. Okay. Okay, so it is just taking the value. So you can see that sequence is very different from the direct writing. Okay. Okay, so in the last class, I have already opened it here. In the last class, we have seen some formats that that if we have the increasing one, we use the by as positive value. If we have the decreasing one, we use the by value as the negative one. And then we can give from, to, and like this, or to or from, like this. Okay, so but in the last class, like here, like all the time we are changing the values. But if we have, let's say, same values, and I just want to divide the sequence in different ways, and I don't know how many ways I want to define it, then what we can do is that we can make use of the predefined variable. Okay, so that is nothing, just in the starting also we have seen sometimes that if we want to use, let's say, any of vector or matrix or anything again and again, then what we do is that we just save it in some variable. Okay, so if I will just save, let's say x is equal to 6. Okay, and if I will make sequence of uh, let's say 3 to up to 6, and uh, x by uh, 20. Okay, so x by 20, so 6 by 20 is point 0.3. So it will, uh, now if I have not written from to by, then it will kind of understand on its own. Now instead of 3 to 6, I can just write x by 2 to x by 3. Sorry, x by 3 will be a smaller number and x by 2 will be a large number. Okay, so now what is happening if I am writing, so it is 2 to uh, 3. Okay, now if I will write x by 2 to x, right? So this sequence and this sequence is same because x by 2 is basically 3 and x is basically 6, but this may seem a little bit confusing, right? Because I'm just writing sequence x by 2 to x by 20. It is not defined like from to by and all, so it can be a bit confusing. So in general, if it is not, I'm not writing from and to, so first value, this value basically, uh, this value is basically considered as the from, this value is considered as a to, and this value can be considered as by or length depending on what is given. Okay, so let us try just x. So it is just giving this, whereas if I will write length, length equal to x, so what it is doing, it is uh, okay, I'm writing two three things so that when we will copy it I can explain separately. Okay, I'm removing all of it, uh, this and this. Okay, okay, okay. So what is happening here, this one and this one. Okay, so first one and second one, so it is by default from, this is by default 2. Okay, and the third one is kind of by default, it is by. Okay, now in first one when I have given this, so it is basically 3 to 6 and 6 by 20, which is point 0.3. Okay, in the second one, so it has given the sequence 3, 3.3, 3.6, 3.9 up to 6. So 3 to 6 sequence with this gap. In the next one, it is 3, 6, and 6. Now if I'm taking the gap of 6, if I'm taking the gap of 6, so if I'm writing 3 and after a gap it will be 9, so 3 and 9, but 9 is not in between 3 and 6. So this will not come. So only sequence will be 3. So the answer is 3. Uh, in the last one, when I have given length equal to x, so what it is doing, it is taking length as 6. Now I have 3, 6, length equal to 6. Length equal to 6 means it needs to make 6 values out of 3 to 6. So I have 3, 6, and I need to divide it into equal portions. Okay. So it is dividing as uh, I need to take out these 6 values. Okay. So I need to divide something like that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So it will divide it like this. So by 3, and then uh, we need to have some 6 values, so it will be by 3.6. So here you can see it is 3.6, and then 4.2, and then 4.8, then 5.4, and then 6. So these are 6 values if I want to divide it by, if I want to divide the sequence in the length of 6. Okay. Okay. So if it is just like that, if you want to introduce this variables or not, so that is a depending condition. Okay. Now the next thing is that I till now I have given one variable and I have made the sequence based on that. But if there is a sequence which we want to use again and again, so let's say I have defined a sequence of marks, or I have defined a sequence of uh, let's say percentage, or let's say some other things which I want to use again and again, then what I will do is that I will just I can just save. So I am gonna write x1, so I can just save that sequence. So let's say my sequence is again the above one. Let's say xy2 to x, then equal to x. So the x1 is this. Now I can use this x1 again and again wherever I want to use. And then I can perform any kind of operations on this. So I can write x1 by 9. So this is another sequence I have made. If I will write x1 into, let's say, 12, and then I can just make x1 plus, let's say, 1.7. Okay, so these are the different ways to make a sequence, or just make use of this variable input. Okay. Okay. So this one is more or less like increment, decrement, and by default, by predefined variable. So all we need to define is a variable. Okay. The sequence along X, we have gone through a little bit in the last class, how we can define the sequence along X. But okay, we can see a one, two examples. Okay. Now, uh, sequence along x, that is basically I have a sequence, um, and or let's say I have a data vector and I just want to give its index. Okay, so if I will write, let's say, x2 as a sequence, um, let's say 18, 19, 31, 42, 2, 7, 1, and then 15. Okay, let's say this is my sequence, and if I will just write sequence and along equal to x2, and if I will write this, then you can see it is just 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. So it is always just, it is just the index vector. So what is the index of this vector? If you want to separate the indices of your vector in a different variable, then you can use this sequence along x. Now if I want to access, let's say x, okay, sorry, it is not x, it is x2. So if I will just write x2 of index of 3, it is 31. If I will just write x2 of 3, then it is also 31. Okay, so this is just index vector, nothing else. But right now it seems, I know it seems like it is kind of useless, right? I mean, if you can just write x2 of 3, what is the need of writing x2 of index of 3? It does not make any sense. But when we will do this order, then we will see that how the order makes, and then it it can be a little bit confusing. Okay, so right now just know that we can access through index, and we can just access through this. uh, okay. Okay. The next is that generating the current time and date. Okay. So firstly, we need to know what is the system time and what is the system date. So you need to remember that here S, if I will write a small, then there is could not find any function. I need to make it capital. Okay. So uh, if I will write time, then it will give me the whole with date. If I will just write date, uh, okay, so date also you need to remember that D is capital. Okay, let me remove all this, and okay, so if you will just write date, then it will just give you date. If you will write time, then it will give you the date along with the time. So time, it has also written IST. Okay, so Indian Standard Time. So Indian Standard Time. This one also here you can see. I think this is 1832. So that is the exact time which system shows. Okay, now. Now, if I want to make the sequence along it, then I can just make by writing just sequence, and uh, now Now, in the sequence, you need to give whether you are writing the date or whether you are writing the time. So, if I will write as dot date, so you can see it has came already, and then I need to write in this format. Okay, so I will write, let's say 2024 to let's say 0101. Okay, and up to, it will depend on you whether you want to give this or length, let's say 10, and by is equal to years. So I have here given uh, the this one, since I have not defined the from and etc., so uh, it will just take as dot date, so it has just taken 2024, and rather than 2 I have given that you need to give me just length of 10, so it will be 7, 8, 9, 10. And by I have given as years. Now this will completely depend on you whether you want to give the years or days or months. So let's say if I will give, what will happen if I will give months? Then you can see it is changing this value. Okay, previously when it was year, it was changing this 2024, 25, 26 up to 2033. Now it is changing the month. It is 01, 02, 03 up to 10. So up to 10 months. Uh, I can also write weeks. Okay. So it is 1st January 2024, 8th January, then 15. So it is just plus 7. It is doing just plus 7. Okay. So these are some sequences. So this is as I have given only the length and then by as weeks or months or anything with you want to. If I will not give anything, let's say what will happen, like length and by, if I will not give any, and if I will just write some other date. Okay, so let's say I'm just writing this date. Okay, and let's see how it is doing. Okay, so when I'm giving any random date, then since I have not given weeks or months or etc., it is giving by days. Okay, it is giving by days. Okay, what will happen if I will just give like this? Then also it will give me by days. So by default it is by days, so no matter what you will give, it will just take by days. Okay, now in this it has considered uh, in this it has considered this date as from value, not as to value. Can you tell me what is the reason? This value, the first value which I have given as date, it has taken as a from value, not as to value. Can you give me what can be its reason? Okay, so the reason is basically if I will give because uh, I have given this as positive. So we know in the last class we have done here, if we are giving the increasing value, if we are giving the two value, if then it has to be, the by has to be positive, and if we are giving like this, the by has to be negative. Okay, so here it is same. If I'm writing weeks, that means it is increasing sequence, so it will take this date input as the um, this date input as the from value. If I will write -1, then it will take this date value as a 2. So it is decreasing. Now it is 2024 1 1, and then 2023, and then 1225. Why? So from 1 you can just decrease, so it is 31, and 1, 31. um, Sorry, so we need to take the 7, so 31 and then 30 and then 29, 28, 27, 26, and then 25. So this one will be the seventh value. So it is taking the sequence in the opposite direction. If you will write -1 weeks or week also, you can just write -1 week. That works the same way. Okay. So you can basically write the increasing or decreasing sequence of dates also here. Okay. Now similar as date, you can write the for the time also. Okay. Okay, so we will see some examples of this in after just completing the sequences. Okay. The next is generating the sequence of alphabets. So for generating the sequence of alphabets, basically we have the small letters and the capital letters. Okay, so rather than writing A, B, C, D, etc., we just have the letters. Okay, so if I will just write letters from 3 to 8, it will give me the letters from 3 to 8. And for capital letters, you need to write the in capital letters. There is nothing like no mystery here. Okay, it is very simple. Uh, Now, index one, you already know. Okay, what if okay, so we can do some indexing. Okay, what will this be? What do you think this will be? Minus 3 to 8. What do you think this will be? Okay, so firstly, I'm gonna print letters. So all the letters we have as A, B, C, D up to Z. So these are 26 letters. Yes, except 3 to 8. So if I will run it, then it will give me A, B, and then it has removed 3 to 8. And then it is I up to Z. So these are the indices. So indices, if there is negative, that means remove those parts. Okay, so it basically means that letters and all the indices, so 1 to 26 indices minus 3 to 8 indices, so that one is kind of by default that it has the whole sequence. And then I'm just going to remove this one. Also we can access depending on letters we want, like 3, 8, 19. Okay, so that is also, if I can just write as a data vector, and it will give me the third one, eighth one, and the 19th one. Okay. Okay, so that is kind of more or less for the sequence. So before going to the repeat one, we will see some examples of it. Okay, so this is from the last class, we have not done yet. Okay, so uh, I think you can try this one. Okay, so what it is saying is that okay, firstly you try and then we will see which one will be the answer. 2. Okay. Okay. So The first thing is you need to remember is that whenever uh, whenever you will have up to this x minus 120 greater than 30, so this means what are the x minus sorry this means that x minus 120 is greater than 30, these values. So that will be a true or false. Okay, that is a logical operator, that whether it is greater than 30 or not. Now once you have x, that means you are giving x an indices for which this is true. So basically we are seeing that x and index for which the condition is true. Okay, so we are going to find those x. Now you can see this is obviously less than 120, less than 120, less than 120, less than 120. These are all the values less than 120. So these are the only values. I mean, if it is less than 120, obviously if I will minus 120, it will not be greater than 30. Now in these two values, so if I will 154 minus 120, so it is 34. Okay, so it is greater than 30, and obviously 176 is greater than this, so that one also is true. So these two are the values 154 and 176 for which this condition is true. So these are two. This is also similar, so you do not need to do here also. It is x values where this condition satisfies. Okay, now this. Okay, so this is also very simple. You can just see and just have the answer. One, right. So you have just two. So first is 25, so second is 26 up to 32. So these are 32 values. Okay. So these are some up and down. So we will see the repeat question later. Firstly, we will see this generating command. So it is saying that generate a sequence of 5 dates from 1st January 2022 with the gap of 2 months between each. Okay, I just need to connect the charger 1 minute. Okay, so what do you think will be its answer? A. C. Okay, so I hope you have written the A for this. Right. So we have firstly the 5 days. So these are wrong because it is length thought out is uh, 2. Okay, here length is 5 and length dot out is 5. Okay, so you can either give length or length dot out, that is not a problem. But here it has written as dot date. So in capital as we do not give capital as, we give the small as. So that will be the correct one. Okay. Generate the sequence of weekly dates starting from 15 February 2023 with the total of 6 weeks. Okay. Okay. So D. Okay. I think there can be multiple correct options. Uh, and C can also be an option. I don't know. We need to check whether these are. Okay, let us just check whether these are 6 weeks or not. Maybe this is. Uh, okay. So, okay. So we have not given as dot date here. So it will not work. Okay. And okay, so this, and if I will just remove this, then also it works in the same way. Okay, so there is nothing, no other difference, I think. So we have as dot date and we have by weeks. So these and these are okay. This is also, I think, the same, but we have not written as dot date. So that is why this is the wrong option. Okay. Okay. And here obviously as dot date. So D is small and we have the capital D. Okay. The next is generate a sequence of bi-weekly dates again uh, with a total of 4 dates. So that is we have just done bi-weekly. So very similar. Okay, so bi-weekly is firstly 2 weeks, and all the time there are week. So it is 2 weeks. So the first one will be the correct one. Okay, because there are no other option where we have given bi-weekly. Okay, what this will be? Letters from C to H. C. So we do not write. Uh, we write the indices. We do not write this. And similarly, okay, so you need to just see which one is eighth one. So eighth one is H, I think. So it will start from H. Okay, good. Fine. So we will see the repeat command now, and then we will do the um, questions based on this. Okay. So now in repeat, there are two types. One is times, and other one is each. Okay, so let's just see if I have repeat. Let's say I'm just giving one value, um, 5, let's say, and I'm giving times as 10, let's say. What will happen if I will give repeat 5 and each as 10? So, right now, because uh, there is only one value, so you can see that. Let's remove all of it. Right now you can see that there is no difference. Here also it is 5 10 times, here also it is 5 10 times. because it is just one value. So rather than giving one value, if I will give a data vector, then there will be a change. Okay. So if I will give, let's say 12, 17, 3, 14. Here, if I will give times as, let's say, 3, then you can see that it will firstly create this one. Then secondly, it will create again, it will just repeat the whole vector. So if you write times, it will repeat the whole vector. Whereas in each, if I will write each, then you can see the difference. In each, it will repeat each value by this uh, time, like if I have given each as 3, so it will repeat all the values by 3. So firstly it will repeat 12 three times, 17 three times, 3 times, and then 14 three times. Now what will happen if I try, uh, now in if I want to write the time, so it will just repeat 3 times, 4 times, does not matter, but each, so I can give each different. Okay, so I want to write, let's say, okay, so what it is saying, that this first element used for the each. So you can see, or let's say I'm writing 5. So it is just repeating 5 times. The wording is, we can only give the repeat, sorry, each as a one value, not as a data vector. Okay. Uh, so it will not give you error message. It will give you the answer, and along with the answer it is written that first element of each. So first element of each is 5, so first element of each is used for the each argument. So you can see it has repeated, all has repeated 5 times. Okay, now what will happen if I use times and each all in one? Okay, so firstly we just repeat whatever we have done. In the repeat one, if you have times, it will repeat the data vector, whole data vector. If you have each, that means it will repeat each element. So each by each element and times by whole data vector. What will happen if I will use times and each all in one? So let's say I'm using times as 2 and each as 3. So you can see that it has repeated 3 times values, 3 times values, 3 times values, 3 times values, and then this as made as a data vector, and then whole data vector is repeated 2 times. Now, other thing you can see, uh, if I will write each firstly and times later, then also we will have the same report. So what is one thing you need to remember, that each works firstly. Okay, so in one data vector, sorry, in one repeat command, if I am giving times and each, then each works firstly, then repeat number of times. Okay, so that is one thing you need to remember, whether you give the time first firstly or each letter or each firstly times letter, you will have the same answer, and it will always take each firstly and then repeat, make a data vector and then repeat it as many times we have given. Okay. uh, Now if I just want to do this, and uh, I will just remove this each. Okay, because each means each element you need to repeat this much of times. If I will just give this and this, then it will work. So I'm writing this after this. Okay, that if this will not work. Why? Because it is each means each element. So each element needs to be repeated 5, 3, 4, 5 times. So this will not work, and this will work. That because I have not written each, so that means it is that 12 is repeated 5 times, 17 is repeated 3 times, 3 is repeated 4 times, and 14 is repeated 5 times. So that will be the answer. 12 and then 17, and then 3 is repeated 4 times, and at the end 14 is repeated 5 times. So that is uh, one thing if you want to repeat the different uh, values by different number of times. So that is one way we can do. Okay. So now you can include the sequence, etc., like other things you can include it here. Okay. The other thing is that which we will see is that what will happen if we do the repeat command in the matrix, because these what to say, so the data vector, so sequence is also just a data vector, so that are all gonna work in one way. But if we want to use this in a matrix, then we will see how the matrix works. Okay, so firstly we will make a matrix. Let's say number of rows is 2 and number of columns is 3, and the data, let's say some 6 values. Okay, so 13, 19, 18, 15, 17, 12. Okay, let's say this is my data, and I'm writing by row as row. Okay, so now this is my matrix X, or because I have given X previously. So let me write my matrix by Z. Okay. So this is, let's say, my matrix Z. Now, if I want to do this uh, repeat command on this, and I want to repeat it 3 times. So you can see it has taken its data by this way. Okay, and what will happen, okay, we will firstly take both, and then we will see what is the difference between by row and by column. Okay, and so here when I'm writing first, okay, so now you can see this is my data. So data is same in both the cases. In the first one I have written by row as true, in the second one I have written by row as false. Now, if I will not give you this, I will just give you this. Then what can be seen that it has just repeated the data and it has nothing to do with the matrix. But that is not truth. If you will see the above command where by row as true, then you can see it is repeating as this. So 13, 15, 19, 17, 18, 12, and then 13, 15, 19, 17, 18, 12. So you need to understand that when repeat command works, when repeat command works on the matrix, then it takes data as first column data and then second column data and so on. Okay, so it is take the data column wise. Here also it is taking the data column wise, but since by row as false written, so we can just see that data is coming like this. Okay, but whereas it happens this. Now what will happen if I will write, let's say I'm just gonna write this as z1, so I can do repeat on z different ways. Okay, now if I will write repeat that each equal to 3, then it will just repeat each as 3. If I will give 2 1 2 3 1 2, then you can see that Z is this, and it has repeated the 13 two times, 15 one time, 19 two times, 17 three times, 18 one time, and 12 two times. Okay, so that works. That is how it works basically for the matrix. Okay. So till now we have seen the numbers. It works same basically, literally the same way for the letters, for any character values, for any other values. So if I will do repeat, let's say the letters and 3 to 7 and 2. You can also see if I'm just writing 2, then it is taking 2 as times, not each, right? So by default, uh, it is times, not each. Okay. Whereas if I will just write each, then it will just repeat like this. Okay, so till now, any confusion in any of this part? Okay. So now, till now, we have done repeat with times, with each, and with time and each all in one. Now, we can also do repeat of this repeat. That means repeat. So basically, we are repeating the values. Now, we are repeating the values. We can repeat the values number of times or each element we want to repeat. So we can repeat the values in different way. Sorry. So as here, give me a minute. Okay. So as here you can see it has repeated times, and here it has repeated each element. Here it has repeated the whole data vector. Now till now we have not given any boundation to the length. So we can also give a boundation to length. So let's say I'm writing this, and I'm not saying it length as I'm not saying it repeated two times or three times. I'm just giving length as let's say 13. Then what it is doing, it is repeating the data vector until we get the length. So repeat data vector until get the vector of given length. Okay. Right. So it will just repeat. So it is repeating C D E F G. Okay. So 3 to 7 done. Then C D E F G. And then up to this, you can see there are only 10 values completed. So it will repeat C D E, but not G H. Why? Because the length I have seen as 30. Now you can just use length dot out. It is gonna do the same work literally. It does not make any difference here. Okay, so better we use the small one. Okay, now this one is for letters, and the similar one you can do basically for any of it. So let's say what will happen if I will just give the Z and length as, let's say, 14. So my Z was this. So it was 13, 15, 19, 17, 18, 12. And then again 18, 12. And these are six entries. So 6 and 6, 12. And I have given 14 here. So it will repeat the starting two values at the end as 13, 15. So that is more or less regarding the length one and for the repeat command. Okay. Okay, so now we can do some example of repeat and then we will move to the sort. Okay, so repeat 10 7 times 2. First one. Okay, right. So very simple. All we need to do is that write the data vector, and since it is written times, so we need to repeat that my number of times. So it is 2 times. The data vector is 10 9 8 7. So 10 9 8 7, 10 9 8 7. So this one, next one is for the each one. Okay. Next, here we have the each. B. Okay. Second, right. So we have each command. So it is 8877 and then 66. Okay, so what will happen here? So we have just seen which commands work firstly. A, right. So whenever this happens, this works firstly, right? So it is 12 12 11 11 10 10, and after this the times will work. So it is this. Okay, for the matrix one. So here by row is false. So firstly by row is false. So we are going to give data 1 2 3 4 5 6. So when by row is false, it is very simple. that we need to give directly. Repeat y times s 2. Okay. So this one is first one. Okay. The next we will see the sorting. So we will after completing the sort and mode, and then the list sum from the list also. Explain the matrix. Okay, so matrix, do you like do I need to explain the matrix sum? So okay, so that is you need to go into the previous classes for that. As here you have the matrix operations. So if you will go to the fourth week, then you have uh, how we can do the summation, and then I don't know, somewhere it must be written. So these are all the lectures already uploaded in the YouTube, or if you want to just go through the slides, then also you can go through it. Okay, so if you have any confusion for this class, or if you have not understood anything, like some, but I'm not going to explain what I have explained in the previous classes already. So you can just go through that. If you will have any problem in that, then I will explain. Okay. Okay. So the next is sorting. So sorting is basically whenever we work with numbers, most of the time we sort the numbers in increasing or decreasing order. So sorting is basically okay. Let me just do it like this and write here sort. Okay. So you can see that by default the decreasing is false. So by default it is gonna give you a increasing sequence, and uh, then there is written sort of integer also, etc. So it is not necessary. You can sort any values, whether it is float or anything. So let's say I have the data here. It's okay. X2. So X2 is this data. So now if I want to sort this data, all I need to do is that write sort X2. Okay. So it will just sort it out, and it will, since by default the increase decreasing is false. So that means it is gonna sort it in the increasing order, right? If I will write decreasing, oh my god, I have written okay, decreasing as true, then it will sort the data in the opposite direction. So if I will not write, if I just want it in the increasing order, then I do not need to write this increasing or decreasing. I can just write this x2, and then I can just write the decreasing. Okay, the next one is ordering. Okay, so now if I will write order of x2, so the order of x2 is this. Okay, so I will just, I hope there is no issue in sorting because that is very simple. uh, okay, now this is uh, firstly I will write x2, and then I will write order of x2. This is this can be a bit confusing concept. Okay, so now what will happen? So order. Okay, let me write this. Mm, here order. Okay. uh, Let me also write so x2. Okay. uh, okay, now x2 values are like this: 18. uh, let's start from the left side. Okay, 18, 19, 31, 42, 2, 7, 1, 15. Okay. Okay. Now, what is its position? Okay. So now it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now, now based on this position, it is gonna sort, and it is written that decreasing as pause. That means I want to write it in order of increasing values. So for that, what is the best way? The best way is the sort x2. So I have sorted the x2. Okay. Now my sorted x2 is 1, 2, this and this. And then you need to see where what is uh, its position. So you need to see the position of sort values, right? Okay. So these are the sort values. Now what is its position? So these are the positions, right? And these positions are basically your order. So I have sorted the values. Now one is at which place? It is at uh, seventh place, right? Then second is at which place? Fifth place. Then seven is at which place? Sixth place. So my order is 7, 5, 6. Then 15 is at eighth position. Then 18 is at first position. Then 19 at second position. And then 31 at third position, and 42 at fourth position. So this is my order: 7, 5, 6, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4. Is there any confusion? Because it can be confusing, I know. Okay. uh, we will do one more example of it. Okay. And so that it will be more clear. Okay, so let me take, let's say I haven't given y. Okay, so let us take a data vector y, which is, let's say some large values: 23, 78, 44, 52, 46, and 37. Let's say 66. Okay. Now, let's say I'm going to do the opposite here. sort x2 decreasing at 2, and order also I'm giving x2 and decreasing as 2, right? Okay, so from where? Okay, so now values firstly 23, 78, 44, 52, 46, 37, 66, right? uh Now sorting. So firstly I will give this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have firstly given the index. Now after giving the index, uh, sort what, sorry, this is, I have to write y, not x2. Okay, so y. Okay, okay. Now uh, you need to remember when you are writing order directly, so by default it is decreasing as false, by default it's decreasing as false. So you do not need to write this if you are writing decreasing as true. So before applying the order, always do the sorting. Now the sorting, by sorting you will know the index. So 72, 78, 78, it is at which place? Second, right? Second. Then 66, 66 at seventh place. Then 52, 52 is at fourth place. Then 46, 46 is at fifth place. Then 44, 44 is at third place. Then 37, 37 is at sixth place. And then 23, 23 is at first place. Now this is your order. So you can see verify 2745361. This is your order. Okay. Any confusion in this, you can just ask. Okay. So basically I just want to repeat it. Whenever you have the order, want to write the order, you need to just sort the data. If order is given as decreasing as true, then sorting needs to be done in the similar way and write the index of this sorted data, that is the order. Okay. The next one is mode. So mode, more or less we have seen till now. In the very starting class we have seen what are the modes. So it is numeric, it can be character, etc. So if I will write mode of, let's say, 2, it is numeric. Mode of 2.45 also numeric. Whereas if I will just change it to a data vector 2.45 and let's say 3.4, then also it is numeric. But as soon as I add any character in it, it becomes character. So if you have a data vector which includes the character values, then it will not be numeric, it will always be a character. Whereas if you will have all the characters, then also it is a character. Okay. Now the factor and all we will see later on class, so I'm not writing the mode of factor etc right now. We will see it later, and we will firstly see list, and then we will see the mode of list and all. uh what will be the mode of sum? Okay, so sum is square root, uh, even sign. So if I will write just sign, so these are all the predefined functions in R. So it all of its mode is function, so because this one is function, right? uh okay, so if I will write mode of true, or if I will write mode of false, that is logical, because this is coming as logical one. So these are basically two three modes that you will see mostly. Okay. Okay, so we have done sorting, order, mode. Okay, and the last one is list. So list, as I have said in the starting of class, list is a kind of, you can understand it as a box where you can put literally everything. Okay, you can put a data vector in this, you as first element, and as the second element you can put a matrix, as the third element you can put a data frame or a character value or a string value. It does not matter. Okay, in the matrix you need to take care of the dimension. In the data vector, you, if you want to apply the further calculation, if you want to do any further calculation, if you want to apply any operation, you need to take care of whether it is numeric or character or something like that. But in the list it is kind of no restrictions. Okay, so in simple way, the vectors, the array, the matrices all contains the data of one type, whereas the list, it can contain any type. Okay. Okay, so till now we have one data vector, and we have one matrix. Actually we have a lot of data vectors and one matrix. Okay, now, mm, you we have x and z, let's say. Okay, one is we have z basically, and we have x1. Okay, one more we can make as let's say we have x y. Okay, so let us take y1 as c, or we can just take letters. Okay, uh, 4 to 10. Okay, so now we have a data vector of character, uh, and we have matrix, and we have x. So if I will write list x, x1, y1, and z, so you can see basically its first element is a sequence, its second element is this, and its third element is uh, this one. Now if I will just save it as, let's say, empty. Okay, and if I will write empty, uh, okay, I have not given it name yet. So I, if I want to access the first one, I can access like this. If I will write just one, then it will come as the first one and the one. Okay, so this is how you can access it. Now if I will start including this, basically is start including the name, then we can access it by name also. Okay. So till now it is just first, second, and third element. Uh, Now, uh, if I will write M1 and I want to again access, firstly, let me execute this. Okay, so MT is this. So MT 1 is this. If I want to further, like for this, if I want to see the second or third element of it, 4.2, then I will have this 4.2. Whereas if I will write MT1 and if I will write of 3, then it is saying as null. Remember, there is double bracket, there is single bracket. Why? Because MT1 is this. Now inside MT1 there is only one element, there is no third element. So if I will write 1 1, then it will give me this. If I will write 1 1, then it is giving me this. But if I will write 3, then there is no value of it. So that is how I can access. So you can just write empty double bracket 1 and then 3, or empty 1 and then these are all same. But you will not have any value at this. Okay. So these are some index you need to go through, that what is the difference when you have the double brackets, because that will come uh, by by working. Like, okay, if you will do the coding by yourself, then you will understand that what it will be. Okay, so this is regarding the access of this. Okay, so regarding the operations on the list, like operations on the list, what we can do is that we can merge two lists, or what we can do, we can um, name the list. Okay, so we can give first list as this, second list as this, etc. So these are some operations that we will do in the next class. Okay, so firstly, this is the question I think you all should do. Decreasing is false, order is this, and then we will say it, that whether you have done okay or not. Okay. C. Okay. So decreasing is false. So it means hours will be in 24, 45, 63, 72, 85. Okay, now 24 is at third place, uh, then 45 is at first place, and then 63 is at uh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It is at fourth place, this is at fifth place, and this is at second place. So it is 3, 1, 4, 5, 2. So it is 3, 1, 4, 5, 2. Okay. I mean, you can just do in the hour, you will have the answer, but you need to remember how it is working. Okay, this one. Okay, so this one we have not seen. If we have uh, okay. So what will be the mode if you have the character and logical? So most of the time when there is character, it gives as character. So character, numeric, logical, or character, numeric, or just character, it is always giving the character one. Okay, so I have done this. Okay. Now next. What it will be its answer. 13. What is the 13 answer? There is A, B, C, D. I have not understood. Numeric. Okay. Any other? Any other wants to guess or like understood? Why not list? Because we have not given it as a list one, firstly. So we need to define. So whenever you have this C, so you know it is a data vector. Now inside the data vector, we have the entries. So if right now we have done the list. So if you will see the mode of empty, then it will show you it is list. But you need to give list. Okay, so as data vector, we use C. So it is a data vector. Now inside this, it depends what are this. Okay, so numeric is not true, firstly. List is not true because it is a data vector. It is a character. Uh, Now, why it is a character? Because of these values. So, what is the difference? If I will write 23 plus 45, this is the answer. If I will write 23 plus 45, then you can see that this is the non-numeric. Why? Mode of 23 and mode of 23. So 23 value itself is a numeric, but as soon as you write it in inverted comma, it becomes a character, and it is not going to perform any operation on it, like any simple a summation, mathematical, any kind of operation will not work in it. So it is a character value. Okay, it is not a numeric value. Any confusion? Okay, so it is basically no. Okay, good. So it is basically how you can access. So what will be x two four when you have list as this? What will be x two four? What will be this value? So remember, firstly, I have given this double bracket and then single bracket. 13, right? So it is uh, x2. So since it is sorry, double bracket, since it is double bracket, it will be firstly x2 is my 10 to 13. Sorry, 10 10 to 20. Okay, and then its fourth value, so it is 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, etc. So it's first, second, third, fourth. So fourth value is 13. Okay, the next is this one is, will answer differ if I write this is, yes, it will differ. See, I have written double bracket 3 and I have written single bracket 3, because in single bracket, uh, if I will just run up to this, so in this up in this empty one, there is nothing like 3, there is 1, then there is nothing like 3. But if I will run this, then there is these vector and I can access the third element, whereas in this there is first and then there is nothing like 3. Okay, so what will be its answer? Okay, so we can divide it into two parts. We can just write x2 firstly. So what is x2? It will come as this. Uh, okay, it will come in R like this. Now it's first, it has only now one element, and it has only now one element. Okay, so this will come as these values 100, 103. Now you can see it has only one element, it does not has any second element. So second element is null, third element is also null. So if you will write x2 and then 2, then you can see there is only one, so this will be null. Okay, is it clear? Okay. So next, these two are basically when we will see that we can give the name to the list. So that we will see in the next class. Okay. So from today's class, if there is any confusion or any doubt, then you can ask. You have the matrix problem, then you need to go to the lecture as I have said. Which one? Yes, matrix operation. So you need to go to week 4 of this lecture and then you can understand the matrix. I'm not going to repeat a topic. All I can say is that okay, this particular problem you have regarding this thing. Okay, so if whatsoever you have problem, explain this and this with new example. Only problem. I mean, we have done so many examples, so you can just go through this and you can see summation, subtraction, and division is not there. You can see all of it. You can just attend the lecture, and if you have any problem at any part of the lecture, then I can just show the lecture here, and then I will repeat like in that place. Okay, like let's say after 1 hour, or let's say you have some time that at this point of time I have not understood well, but I'm not going to repeat a whole topic. Okay. Okay, so explain function of this with a new example. So okay, kind of we have done some 2 3 example, but okay, let's see. Okay, so let us make a new list. Okay. uh so okay, so let's say I'm making a list, new list, where I'm writing Z, and I'm not writing Y1. I can write Y and X1. That's it. Okay. So now MT1 is new list. MT1 is new list. Okay. Now in MT1, okay, let me just copy all of it. Mm, okay, Week 7. 15, right? Now, if I want to access, uh, let's say, a element of this one. So let's say I want to access its y or x1 or z. Then I can write mt1 1. So what will happen if I will write mt1 1? You can see I have accessed my first element. If I will write mt1 2, it will access three second element, it will access the third element, right? Let me copy all of it also here. Okay. Okay. So I have accessed all of it here, all of it here, and then we will also see the difference. Okay. Uh, I have this second and third. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna write it side by side. Okay. Okay. So firstly, let me increase this. Okay. Fine. Okay. Uh, okay. Now you can see that when this is my matrix. Okay, this is my matrix. When I'm writing empty double bracket one, empty double bracket 1, then it is giving me this value. When I'm writing empty double bracket 2, then it is giving me this 2 3. When I'm writing the third one, it is giving me 3 3.66. So I hope this one is clear to you. Okay, when I'm writing the double bracket. But when I'm writing the single bracket, when I'm writing the single bracket, now, okay, after this also, uh, okay, so once you have this data, okay, now once you have this mt1, this, okay, so let us try to save it in some new. So let's say mt1 3, let's say I'm writing it as c, or let's say d, because we use this as data matrix. Okay, now d is my normal data vector, right? So if I want to write d of 2, I can just get it, d of 2, right? So that means if I have the double brackets and then I am writing 2, then it is giving me the second one, 3.6. Is it understood till now? Just for the double brackets, just for the double brackets. For the double brackets, let us say I have saved this one in something new, and I'm writing d of 2. Is it clear, this one? And then I will move to the single bracket and we will see the difference. Is it clear for the double bracket? Okay, so since there is no response, I have to understand it as it is clear. Okay, so basically we have taken the first, second, and third element by using this, and then further including this 2 or 3, I'm gonna access the elements of this further element. Okay, now there is empty 1. So there is empty 1 and then there is empty 2, there is empty 1, 3. Similarly, as I have saved D, I'm gonna save D1 as MT1 3. So notice the difference. D as saved as this. So I'm gonna run D. Remove all of it. I'm gonna run D, D, and then I'm gonna run D2. Okay. So firstly, I have saved D, and then D is this, and second. Now I'm writing D1 as this, just single bracket. I'm gonna write what is D1, and I'm gonna write D2. Sorry, D1, 2. Okay. So I'm gonna remove all of this and run all of it. Okay. Here, see, see. The D is a data vector, a simple data vector. A simple data vector, if we want to access the second element, all we write is 2. Whereas D1, now D1, there is only one element. This is the only element as list. So when I'm writing MT1, so there is 1, 2, 3 elements. There are not 1 and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. There are not this much of elements. Okay. If I will just cut it out and write length of MT1, you can see it is 3. If I will write length of D, where I have written the double brackets, it is 6. Whereas if I will write length of D1, it is 1. So that is the difference, because D1 is just, it has only one element. It does not have 6 elements. Okay. So this, when you are writing with the double one, this has 6 elements, this has 6 elements, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Sorry, this has 7 elements, and this has 6 elements. Whereas when you are writing empty single bracket, this has one element, this has one element, and this has one element. So when you only have one element, you cannot access the second element. Is it understood now? So I don't know why there is no response, but anyways. So basically, right now, this is only one element. So when you have only one element, you cannot access the further element. Here, it is basically giving you an element. So when you will do it on your own, I think it will be much clear. Okay, okay, okay. Is there anything else? Links for the notes, I think you already have the links for the notes. If you do not have this, these are the links. This is the drive link, but that is also okay. So you have registered for the course, and then you need to go here, problem solving session. uh, Go here, click, you can find it here. So this is another TA, this is mine. You can go to any, like you can, wherever you can understand. uh, Go to this, and you will have the lectures along with the codes of this class. And if you want to go through the lecture videos, then these are the YouTube videos where you can uh, so here are the lectures. So I'm gonna just upload after the class. Can you give an example of while loop using a data vector, as I am unable to do it? Uh, Okay, so in the last class we have covered the while loop. Uh, okay, using a data vector. What does that mean using a data vector? Because when you have the while loop, uh, then you can just increase a sequence. Like if you have, let's say, y is equal to 5, so in while loop we give a condition that repeat a loop until this condition happens, and after that break the loop. So what does that mean by including a data vector? I mean, what is the example you are using? Like, I have got what is data vector, but where you are using it. Like when I'm giving while loop here, then I can, it is 5. So it is 5 less than 20. It can be less than 30 or something like that. That okay, after that it condition stops. But you can never give a data vector here. You can only give this, and that is, it will stop when you will just start increasing the values. It has no use of data vector there. So the better thing will be you can create a question and then let me know. I mean, here you cannot give a data vector. There are different loops for different things. So if you want to give a data vector, you need to use a for loop. So here I am giving a x1, so I'm giving a data vector, then you need to use the for loop. If you are using while loop, you need to give just one value and then it will stop there. If you are using the repeat, then also you need to give and then you need to say break it when it is happening. Where the while loop, we are giving the condition in the while loop directly. In the repeat loop, we give the condition later and we say break when it happens. In while loop, we do not give a data vector, we only give one value and we say that repeat the loop and stop the loop when it is, let's say, less than 30 or less than 40 or anything like that. So there are different loops for different things. Okay, so in while loop we do not give the data vector. So in the last class, I don't know if we have written this. uh, Yeah, so for loop, you need to write the number of repetition or whatsoever. In this, you need to write just command as long as condition is true. Okay, okay. Is there anything else? Okay, so for all of you need to go through, and especially the loops, because the loops are very important. It is where it can get confusing and you need to remember when we are using which kind of loop. And loop is one thing that I don't know, like, no matter what you do, you are gonna use this loop. I mean, sequence, maybe you do not use system, like system dot date, maybe you will never use this sequence in your life. Okay, so there are a lot of things which you will not use, but you should understand that okay, in future if I want to use, then I can just go through it. But for loop, while loop and repeat loop, mostly we use for loop. While loop also, repeat loop is less used, but for loop and while loop, do as many questions as you can. Okay, thank you for joining. Okay, so I'm just ending the class. You can just note down if you have any doubts. Okay.